The Suburban is deep in the middle of its next transformation, which, look, we're going to talk a lot more about that. But to fill that adventure rig space in the lineup, my dad and I are on a one-way flight to Colorado to borrow a very well-built rig that I have long admired. Now, we're just a few days into 2025, and I cannot think of a better way to start the year than with a good road trip with Pops.
Steven's got a really good program, right? The truck is really ready to go. I mean, it's really mostly stock from a powertrain perspective. It's just got the solid axle swap, the off-road bed, and the Magnum. Everything else is pretty factory, so it's kind of runs a little bit like a factory truck, meaning we don't have to carry exotic spares. It's just normal parts store stuff. In fact, that is what he's looking for now, is the odds and ends for... What are you looking for?
Tool stuff?
Tools. We need tools. Like just a couple of like wrenches and things like that. Because my dad and I flew here, so we couldn't carry anything with us. Tools. Here's one important tool. So thank you very much for letting me borrow the white truck. I've been really excited about this.
Yeah.
Very honestly. So I've got my task list. But what's cool is this thing very clearly just runs and drives.
Well, we thought so. This was supposed to be kick the tires, maybe check the oil and send it down the road, and we found out that it is such a horse that we're used to treating it like you just get in and go and it does everything. When everything else is broken, this one works. And we found out that we had some things we had to catch up on. So Jackson's been busy changing a few things out, and some of it's age related. We got to remember the thing's 20-some years old.
20 years old. The build is when?
2011.
Yeah,
was the original build, and it's been continuously messed with since. But like the water pump was probably original.
Yeah.
And maybe it picked up some trash just sitting, and it worked itself out because it quit weeping after we decided to change it.
Yeah.
Of course, but time for a new water pump and a few things like that. The suction hose on the power steering pump from 2011 finally started kind of weeping, oozing out of it. So just little things like that. It was time.
These are tiny, very, very tiny details. The exciting part is, right, so a couple of diesel guys, right, you're sending us back with a big block, 5-speed.
Yep.
And I mean a regular cab, whereas we're used to Suburbans, which is you pay no consideration to what you carry with us. Now that's what we've got to think about.
Yeah, you guys are in for a whole different world in a single cab.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time.
It'll be fine.
We
drove it to Alaska in a single cab.
Yeah,
and
you
back.
could do it. So I'll pick you up at the start of the trail, and we'll just figure out which airport that is.
Right.
But I'm going to send you a case from Rome, so for all your personal gear, and then that will fit inside one of the cases that I put on here, right? So all right. I'm going full discipline, inspired by you in this truck.
Yeah, it's not quite backpack camping, but definitely a step different from suburban camping.
It's way many shades closer.
Yeah.
So, but thank you.
Yeah, should be fun.
Yeah, it's good seeing you again.
This all happened pretty quickly. Like, say howdy to everyone, get the rundown on the truck, and then immediately hit the road. Look, it's all because there is some truly gnarly winter weather coming, and that's going to chase us all the way back to Dallas. And we needed to get time on our side and knock out this first leg of the drive. But first, we are going to throw some fuel in this thing. I mean, the 454, she wants a lot.
Help me remember not to put diesel in this.
Hey, don't be putting diesel in this gas rig.
So, what is it? It's 1,200 miles to Dallas. We got a full tank of gas. a full can of Copenhagen. Coffee. And I just need to get our sunglasses.
Yeah. And
In an effort to avoid the bulk of the weather, we took the longer way around the mountains through Moab and into New Mexico before taking a little side hike up to Santa Fe to visit a family favorite lunch spot. It was warm that afternoon, and the wind was still blowing from the south, but as we got out of town on the next leg to Amarillo, that all shifted and the wind came out of the north and started pushing the back of the truck. We had a nice little tailwind, which turned out to be pretty handy because it helped with some amazing fuel economy. I mean, at least for this truck. But winter was coming, and it was following us.
Good 2025, Happy New Year. Well, we made it back here just before the cold settled in, and it was a wonderful drive. We had a really good time in this truck, and I can't think of a better way to start 2025, the new year, than with a road trip with my pops. We certainly enjoy our time together, but this truck was a great load of fun to road trip, and it's very road trippable the way it's built. Before I dive into the things that I'm going to do to prepare this for the next adventures, let me walk you through this build as it is, just in case you're not familiar with it.
This is a 1999 GMC K3500. It's solid axle swapped on custom off-road design leaf springs with some really nice shocks. The off-road bed has a surprising amount of storage while still holding 40 gallons for the 454 and supporting the rear cage work. Inside, it is regular cab life, which is to say cozy. There is a lovely shifter farm where the Magnum 205 and NV 4500 all sprout from the floor. It was originally built for the 2011 UA trip, but this truck has since logged like 60,000 miles of mixed trails and highway, including a trip to Alaska. This thing is a workhorse with targeted upgrades that are indeed very transformative.
Part of the plan that Steven and I have is I do have a little bit of a punch list for this truck. We're going to do power stop, big brakes. I'm going to take a look at the seats and see what we can do for reupholstering. The radiator has got a crack in it. The end cap is separating from the core, so we'll take a look at that, right? But there's just those tiny little maintenance odds and ends. And then, of course, I think we might throw a couple of the Seymour paint products at this thing wherever we see rust going. Think of this as like a little bit of a reset. It's been 14 years since they built it. I'm going to at least contribute a little bit to freshening this thing up before we go and hit the trail. I think one of the things that this truck has shown me is you just don't need that modification list that's as long as your arm. I'm thinking hard about doing just basic leaf springs and really good set of axles that, yes, could be upgraded later. But that's what I'm thinking about for the Wagoneer whenever I get around to building that. In the meantime, I've certainly got a full dance card with the Suburban. And I can't wait to show you what Neil and I, the plan we're hatching for all of that. But until next time, Happy New Year, take good care, and I'll see y'all next time.